return to South Africa, live on Sky Sports.
Oh, the Lions going to party again.
Watch every tour match live.
He's gone through.
Every tackle, every try, every kick.
It's going to be tight.
Half price for 6 months.
That is incredible.
Don't miss it.
History made.
To join or upgrade and get Sky Sports half price for 6 months, search Get Sky Sports. New sports customers only. Standard pricing applies after 6 months. Further terms apply.
The stylish range of Belling kitchen appliances are renowned for quality and reliability. In addition, Belling appliances come with a full 2-year warranty for your peace of mind. For more information, go online to powercity.ie or call in store today.
Hi, this is Eamon Coughlin. Not everything changed in the last year. Worldwide, hunger, homelessness and war still leave people desperate for food, water and shelter. In 14 countries, Goal is providing essential support, and that's why we still need your help urgently. If you can donate anything at all, please help at goal.ie. Thank you.
Planning a summer break? Make Clayton Hotels part of your getaway experience. With destinations all over Ireland, you can soak up the views of our amazing Irish coastlines, then soak in the atmosphere in our welcoming bars and spacious lounges. Squeeze in the local attractions, then stretch out in our big family rooms. Enjoy endless adventures, followed by meals made to thrill.
Delicious.
And priceless moments, alongside affordable luxury. Experience the best of Ireland, inside and out. Book now at claytonhotels.com.
How do you put a value on real expertise? How do you put a value on the training, experience and precision that only an expert brings? Well, 8 out of 10 Irish drivers know how. Because when it comes to protecting the resale value of your Volkswagen, 8 out of 10 Irish drivers would pay more for a Volkswagen serviced by Volkswagen expert technicians. Help protect your resale value and keep your Volkswagen a Volkswagen. Book your classic service from only €179 at volkswagenservice.ie. Terms and conditions apply.
Off the ball. This is News Talk.
Well, we could well be headed for extra time between Donegal and Derry at Ballybuffet. Now 15 points apiece. Donegal kicked a free to go a point in front in added time, and Derry, in fairness to them, came back and scored an equaliser when they would have every right to be feeling a bit demoralised given they had a 4-point lead at one stage. So Donegal 15 points, Derry 15 points. We're into the final 40 seconds of that game. We'll check in with Enda McGinley at full time. If you haven't heard as well, Novak Djokovic has won his 6th Wimbledon title. That now means he goes level with Federer and Nadal on 20 Grand Slam titles apiece. That means of the last 71 Grand Slams in men's tennis, those 3 boys have won 60 of them, which is just outrageous. And Andy Murray as well obviously has made his contribution, but phenomenal era in tennis, and Djokovic now looks odds on to pip the other 2. Let's bring in Lisa Fallon because we have a rather interesting game, I think it's fair to say, this evening at Wembley. Lisa, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well. I'm watching in horror on Twitter as the fans in London build up to the game in their own inimitable way. I'm looking forward to seeing Leicester Square, or not rather, come about midnight tonight.
Yeah, it looks like a bit of a mess at the moment. A lot of fan zones, and look, I mean, a lot of people out enjoying themselves early in the day, but certainly the scenes the last while that we've seen in Leicester Square are not really what you want to see, but unfortunately they are what they are, but it's a shame because I think this England team are a good team, and I actually really like Gareth Southgate and his whole philosophy and the culture he has around the team, and I just think it's really it's completely at polar opposites to where the team is and what they stand for to that kind of carry on. And I think it's just unfortunate that this team, which is a good team and a likeable team in many ways, continues to have to be associated with that kind of behaviour.
Well, I think as Irish people this week, everywhere from live line to the papers today, have grappled over whether or not they should cheer on England. That's the dichotomy, isn't it? That it's a very likeable manager, very likeable bunch of players versus all the other stuff. And well, I'm not sure everybody can make up their own minds. We'll talk about the football ultimately, because that is what I think. Well, it's very interesting. So I'm just seeing Donegal have beaten Derry, pipped them at the post. We'll go to Enda McGinley in a moment. The word seems to be that Southgate is going to take out Saka and is going to put in Trippier. So give us your thoughts on this. He has surprised us pretty much each and every game, Southgate, and it looks like he's going to do it for the final as well.
Yeah, I think he's really clever. I think he's done a lot of homework. I think he has, he definitely has a big team of analysts there, and they're working on every team and have been throughout the tournament. So regardless of who they got, they would be ready and have a huge amount of work done on that team, so that they'd never be playing catch up. They'd always kind of be ahead and ready to rock with, because there's such a short turnaround between the games. But yeah, it looks like he's going back to the three at the back, with Trippier on the right and Shaw on the left, 3 centre backs. I think looking at that, he's probably going to go with Rice, Phillips and Mount as a middle three, as opposed to against Germany. He kind of did it as a 3-4-3 and matched Germany's 3-4-3. But I think looking at this, I think this could be closer to a 3-5-2, because I don't think you can give up the extra number in midfield against a midfield of Verratti, Jorginho and Barella. So yeah. I think go with the 3 in the middle, the 5 at the back, and Sterling and Kane up top. That's what my good instinct would be looking at this. So yeah, a change. And again, if Italy have probably planned for England to be a 4, it does change it a little bit. To be fair, they probably planned for a 3 and a 4 based on what they've seen in the tournament. But I don't think Italy probably would have been expecting. But I'd say, do you know what? It's probably. Do you know what,
Lisa? I'll just interrupt because your line is acting up. We'll just get it sorted really quickly and come straight back in on that point. Apologies. Back to you in 1 second. Let's go to Enda McGinley in Ballybuffet because it's full time. Enda, I think out of the corner of my eye I saw Donegal celebrating at the full time whistle.
Absolutely. 0-16 to 0-15. Derry can feel very, very unfortunate, but Paddy McBrearty, you just have to admire him because he had an absolutely torrid 70-75 minutes under the very close eye of Chrissy McKaig. Never got away from him at all, barely touched the ball even in open play, and just was a complete shadow figure. Now Chrissy McKaig was on the line and over the line, but it was the perfect man marking job. McBrearty cut a really frustrated figure. He got one chance halfway through the second half, and nearly just because it was practically his only time on the ball, he forced a shot that was even. It was blocked down, and the Derry boys were in over and tapping him. He got the first point to nip Donegal ahead from a free, and even he hit it in a fairly cagey manner. Derry went up the pitch, got the Shane McGuigan free, but McBrearty then got his hands on the ball 35 yards out here on the stand side of Ballybuffet and just struck it straight away. Beautiful, beautiful strike. A fitting strike to win this tie, but Derry can feel very, very unlucky.
Yeah, interesting. So once again, with Donegal, we're not quite sure which Donegal will show up the next day either.
Absolutely, they were disjointed and they were poor today. Now you have to give credit to Derry. They came with a very clear game plan. They brought high numbers, 15 men behind the ball. The Throne management team of Brian Dooher and Fergal Logan were sitting over to my left, and they will be watching very closely. Donegal really, really struggled to shut it down, and whenever Derry had nullified McBrearty without Murphy on the pitch, there was very limited threat from Donegal, although Niall O'Donnell tried manfully to fill that hole. But certainly for Throne there'll be plenty of evidence there of how to go about shutting down Donegal. But again, we know Donegal's potential. We didn't see it today. They were disjointed. They forced their way through, but as far as Declan Bonner's concerned, they got through an exceptionally tough examination today.
Enda, thanks so much. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Enda McGinley there on Donegal in the end winning against Derry. We have Lisa Fallon back with us. Lisa, sorry about that. We sorted out the line, I think. So you were making the point. I agree with you totally, by the way. I know a lot of the English press are pitching this as 3-4-3, but I just don't see against that midfield three of Jorginho, Verratti and Barella that Southgate is going to leave Rice and Phillips alone in there, and Mount's not going to be out wide of Harry Kane. That's just not his game. It'd be really, he's making some weird decisions or some interesting decisions. That would be pushing the boat out a bit too much, I think.
Yeah, I think so. And I think, you probably wouldn't be surprised to see Mason Mount playing as the high one in the middle three, and going on Jorginho, because listen, if there's anyone going to know him well, it's going to be Mason Mount. So I think it'll be 3v3 in the middle, and as well, I think, the way Italy play their 4-3-3, they do, I know Spinazzola is gone, but he was such an attacking left back for them. He played so high all the time, and Emerson does bring that. So Italy they are heavy on the left-hand side in terms of their attacking prowess, because they do load and they do allow the left back to go. So they are a little bit more heavily weighted on that side. And with Insigne coming in from that side. I think he needs the extra protection there, and I think that could be part of the reason for doing it, having Trippier there, just to give that extra little bit of protection to Walker.
Italy showed they can mix it up both ways this tournament. So they dominated possession early on. Then Spain seemed to do a brilliant job of closing down the Italian midfield three and obviously owned the ball for a lot of the first half. And Italy were, I mean, I don't know, is content the word? I'm sure they weren't too happy to sit back and defend and hit in the break, but certainly they were able to in that traditional Italian sense. So you would think whichever way that midfield battle goes this evening, if Italy are on the front foot or if they had to sit deep, they're not going to panic tonight. I mean, they're going to be a tough nut to crack either way for England. Yeah,
I think so. And that's one of the things about this Italian team, you know, whilst they've been such a flair team and so creative going forward, and you know, they ignite you when you watch them. You know, they're so vibrant. And I always say it about Mancini's personality just being stamped all over them. You're not really sure what they're going to do. They're interesting to watch. But they do have that core tradition still in them of defending resolutely and doing the work off the ball. And, you know, they press teams so aggressively and they press high up the pitch. But I think the midfield area is actually going to be the crux of this game tonight. I think whichever team wins the midfield battle, that'll really be the platform for success in this game, because both teams have really creative players in terms of going forward. And, you know, with Sterling and Kane, England have good finishers, and they probably don't need as many chances to finish. Like you look at, you know, Italy create an average of 18 shots per game, whereas England are much lower. They only create an average of 9.5 shots per game. So England have to nullify Italy. They have to nullify them before. And England will be happy to sit in and do that counter-attacking style too. In a final, neither team will care what it takes to win, and they won't worry about philosophies or anything like that. It's really about getting it right on the night. And I just think, in fairness to Southgate, I think he's been really shrewd in this competition, and he hasn't really cared too much about what England looked like. It's just about getting the result. And I thought tactically they were brilliant against Denmark the other night. I think he made changes. Players came on, like Grealish came on, got taken back off. But there was no tantrums, there was no egos. That was a tactical decision, and it was very clever. And, you know, he brought Trippier on, and they just shored it up. They were ahead. They just managed the game, saw it out, and did what they had to do to get through the semi-final and into the final. And tonight will be the same. You know, the biggest moment in a game like tonight is going to be the first goal, because that's really going to dictate everything thereafter. So, you know, you don't want to concede the first goal. And that will be probably the centrepiece for both teams, is to stay in the game, don't go behind. And both teams, to be fair, their defensive records have been absolutely savage. You know, Italy have conceded 3 goals. England have only conceded 1 in the tournament so far. So both teams are really, really good at keeping it tight and being resolute defensively. So I actually think it's going to be a fascinating game.
It's really looking forward to it. And it's amazing the way you talk about that midfield battle there, and you think Rice, Mount and Phillips. I mean, 3 kids, you know, such a weight of responsibility on them in there, and they've never played in a game as big as this, which is, you know, it's going to be fascinating to see how they got on. You know, so England have been so solid in so many ways and mentally so calm and assured, bar the notable exception, particularly the last day, of Pickford. Now, I feel you would just, at the back of Southgate's mind, driving on the bus into Wembley today, he is going to be thinking to himself, that did not, you know, does this guy have a mad moment in him? What are you seeing with Pickford, especially the last day?
I think we're all definitely seeing it. And I think if you're in the England squad, the last thing you want to be doing is thinking about it, because you can't let that come into your head. And the players certainly wouldn't want to be thinking about it. And Pickford himself won't want to be thinking about it. He needs to get into the game and get his first touch right, get his first clearance, get his first catch, get his hands on the ball nice and early. Just get all those firsts. If he doesn't get good firsts, then if you're Italy, you're going, we'll be on this now, you know, and absolutely you can rattle them. So I think those first moments tonight will be really, really important for Pickford. And if you were Italy, you'd certainly be doing everything you can to make sure his firsts could be rattled. But But you're right. If there is, one area in that England team where you're looking and you would be edgy, it is with Pickford. Donnarumma on the other side for Italy is so solid. Yeah. I mean, they're talking about him as being the next Buffon, Dino Zoff is saying he has the potential to be the best goalkeeper ever for Italy, and that's big talk from those two boys, and you just think about how assured he's only 22.
I know,
but he's safe as houses. But yeah, look, it is a young England midfield, and I know we've talked about the midfield, but I thought it was really interesting, Jorginho's comments that the Spain game was the toughest battle in midfield of some of their lives. And I think you come through a game like that, it primes you for the next one because you're coming into the game with an edge. And I'm not sure that Phillips, Rice and Mount will bring that edge and challenge those Italian midfielders the way the Spanish midfield did. And just because of that, I'm just wondering, will Italy have the edge in there tonight for that reason?
And is your answer, if we had to push you, that you think Italy might just get over the line, or is this just too tight to call?
I think it's really tight to call, but I just have a feeling about Italy. I had a feeling about them from very early in the tournament, but I don't know. I just have a feeling about them. I think they have a bit more creativity in the team. I think there's a bit less pressure on them, and pressure is a mad dynamic as well. It can really, and you can do all the work and be close shop and, have your culture and all the rest of it. But when the pressure is on, it is a different dynamic. And these England players, there's no way they can't be feeling pressure tonight. But this is that's when you have to perform. These are the big games and these are the massive moments. And I think England have done their business really, really well in the tournament so far. But if there is one team that can absolutely rattle the cage, when you've got characters like Chiellini and Bonucci and Verratti, and these are seasoned pros, they're gamey, they know how to run a game, they know how to rattle the opposition. I think Italy will give England a challenge they've not got from anybody in the tournament so far. And you think about Chiellini having the banter with Jordi Alba just ahead of the penalties the other night. England won't have faced that type of challenge or the personality, a team with the personality that this Italian team have. And I just think from an experience point of view, I think Italy just might have the edge.
Yeah, it's going to be utterly absorbing. Anyway, Lisa, enjoy the game. Cheers for that.
Cheers. Enjoy.
Lisa Fallon there. That is us done.